All right, and back with another one, everybody. This time, what I wanted to do was I kind of wanted to take a little dive into what this whole sixth man for this season is going to look like. And I was looking at the roster and I was looking at the last two seasons because really that's what matters is the 41 and 31 season and then the last season going into this season. And listen, hey, there's some consistency there because we got a bunch of players that have been brought back. You know what I'm saying? So that's good that we have a form of consistency. And I think the starting lineup is going to wind up being, barring any injury, of course, Brunson, Fournier, Barrett, Randall, and Mitch. And backing up is probably going to be a mixture of, I don't know, D Rose, Quickly, Grimes, Obi, and then a mix between that guy, Hardestein, I think his name is. Shout out to Larry Hardestein, though, on ESPN Radio. And then Jericho Sims, somewhere around there. So you have about 11 players that I think Tibbs is going to wind up using on a consistent basis, which seems interesting because for the most part, Tibbs is that guy that uses 10 people, 9 people, sometimes, something along those lines. But who's this sixth man going to be? And my personal opinion is Fournier should probably be the sixth man, the first dude off the bench, but he's getting paid a good amount, so I don't think that's exactly what's going to work. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, who's the sixth man? So now, if you're looking for D Rose, can he provide that six-man effort like he did a couple of years ago, and be that spark plug off the bench, that kind of the first dude off the bench, if you will, or is what's his face? Is Tibbs gonna go with a big? Because for the most part, I think we have 10 guards on this roster, so that's something to consider. So it's probably going to be a guard, which is why I was thinking it's going to be IQ, Grimes, or D Rose, somewhere along those lines. And the thing is, we also have Deuce on the team, but I don't know what he's going to wind up using with him. And he could have been a trade piece, if anything, but I like his defense. I like his defense a lot. And he picks people up full court, which I think is pretty cool. So another year of that, we'll see what winds up happening. But if you're trying to put IQ's a combo dude, in my opinion. He's a point guard and a shooting guard. So in case Fournier is stinking up the joint or whatever, and I say these all, it's whatever, tongue in cheek, if you will. But you can slot in a point guard, slot in a shooting guard, and then you start bringing in your Grimes and D Rose and OBs or whatever. But it's going to be pretty interesting to see. For the most part, Tibbs sticks to the lineup unless something winds up happening or someone gets injured. Because for the most part, last year he ran Kemba, Fournier, RJ, Randall, and Mitch for a good while until towards the end when Burke started getting a bunch of minutes. So if you like dunking, if you want fast break, I'd say put in someone like Obi or put in someone who can kind of, if you want shooting, you could probably put in Grimes to kind of start with. I don't know what his injury status is though. But I think someone like Grimes you're going to want to put in for that sort of 3 and D type of play. I don't know if Grimes is legitimately a 3 and D guy, but he can get you some threes and then he starts to percolate. Maybe streaky, if you will, but also Fournier is a bit streaky as well. Fournier will have those 30-point games, 22, and then he'll score 9 or something like that. But one of the main problems for the Knicks last season is that like February was a little rough, and January was a little rough. And then you start going, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, and then you start going into streaks. So that's one of the main issues. But from a six-man perspective, listen, I'd say see what D Rose gives you at the beginning of the season, and then kind of as you're looking to kind of preserve D Rose a little bit for the end of the season, you need a savvy veteranship, if you will, because for the most part, our veterans are maybe Randall if you want to add him, but it's D Rose and Fournier. Those are the guys that've been on the league, that've been on the team, and they have the most years on this team. You know what I'm saying? Because we lost Taj, we lost Burks, we lost Noel. So if you're gonna go offense purely, maybe you want to go Grimes. But I would say probably start with D Rose and then mix between IQ and Toppin. It depends on what Tibbs wants to do, especially with that forward position, that power forward position. When does Obi fit in? And at some point, when you're going to kind of let that guy go. But for me, we could start with D Rose and then we could probably end with either a mixture of IQ or Toppin. But for the most part, it's probably going to be a guard for most of the season, which is fine with me, man. Just so long as we get the productivity there, and then we'll see what winds up happening. But for the most part, this team's going to wind up being like, we're going to have a bunch of players at the beginning. By January, December, we'll wind up seeing how they're going to be used. But I say D Rose, sixth man. I don't think we're going to have a full-time sixth man, though. That's what I think. That's my opinion. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Appreciate everybody. Thank you. Peace.